Hey Spacers, welcome back to the Hopperverse Pit Boss. And today we're here with one of the dishes I've been looking forward to doing because this is one of the first dishes that I really envisioned in my head when it was presented in Ruins of the Galaxy. And this is going to be the SIRELLIAN tarantula squid in squid ink sauce. Now, when I was picturing the SIRELLIAN tarantula squid, it wasn't something that you could find here on Earth. To me, it was sort of like a combination of the octopus and the squid. So that's what happened. One of the fishmongers out here in Florida had fresh squid and fresh octopus, and they were on sale along with some Ecuadorian shrimp, full size, and I was like, we've got to get it. It's time to do this dish. So what we're going to be doing right now is preparing the brine. Now, I am taking a large pot, and the first item I'm putting in, this is a half a cup of seasoned salt, half a cup of sea salt. That's going into the pot. Next, I've got 1 cup of brown sugar, and then 1 cup of red wine vinegar. Throw that in there along with half a cup of lemon juice. And then last but not least, we have 2 tablespoons of garlic. There may be 3, maybe 4 for me because I like garlic, but the official recipe says 2. Next, I'm going to be pouring in half of the bottle of pomegranate blueberry acai. Next, we are going to be pouring in some water. So basically, we're going to be trying for about, 2 quarts of each. And now I'm going to whisk this up, get this stirred up, get some of that flavor going on. Next, we are going to be adding our squid. After I put in the squid, look at those. Squid is in. Next, I'm going to be pouring in our shrimps. Look at the size of those. You know I had to get those. Those look fantastic. Those are going in. And last but not least, we have our octopus. We've got the full head-on octopus. Now this has already been, the head's been already cleaned for us. That is our last item in there. And because it is not full, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pour in the last of the bottle of the pomegranate juice. And we're going to finish this off with some more water. We're going to cover this, and this is going into the refrigerator. So I'll see you next when we're ready to pull this out and start prepping. Good morning, Spacers. We're back here with our SIRELLIAN tarantula squid, and we're prepping the squid. I have removed it from the brine, rinsed it off, and I have them on my cutting board. As you can see, I've been busy already. With the 2 pounds, we have approximately 11 squid, I believe. I've already gone through a lot of these. So now I'm going to show you how we're going to prep the squid. Now, what we have is the body tube right here, and this is the head and the tentacles. Now, some people will tell you it's as easy as just twisting and pulling. It's not that simple, and it might be simple for them if they've done 100 squid, and that's something that they do all the time. But what I like to do, you'll see the membrane in there, is sort of run my finger through around as I'm, sort of prep it for the pull, and sort of release the tension on the membrane, pinch the back of it, twist, and then start my pull, and this body should come out. But Like I said, it's not as easy as that. As you see, that membrane was still catching there. Once again, we'll pinch the side and then pull. There we go. Now we've got the innards of the squid here. Now what we want to do from here is we're going to be recovering the ink sac. If we weren't using ink sac, you could just go ahead to the next step, which is going to be removing the tentacles. But you can see that right there. It's on the membrane. We're just going to peel that off. I'm wearing gloves just in case it was to break. We're putting that away for later. Now we're back to the head. We're going to take this here and just above or below the eyes, depending on your perspective, we're going to make a nice cut and remove the tentacles from there. You see you got the part of the tentacles there. Those are combined. Now we're going back to the tube. All right, now we're going to be removing this piece of cartilage. Okay, so all you got to do is pull on it and it comes out. Sometimes these break on the inside and you'll have to maneuver it from the body, squeeze it down and pull that out. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be removing the skin. When I first started doing these, I was like, I can't quite get it. All you have to do is pinch the skin, and yes, they are slippery, and then start removing it. We're going to be peeling the skin off here. And voila, just like that, our skin is being removed. Now, I have a collection bag for everything because we don't want this just to go into garbage inside our kitchen. It'll start smelling everything up. So I'm gonna take the smaller bag, I'll take that outside, and the cats outside are gonna enjoy trying to figure out what's inside the garbage can, thinking it's a treat. Now, when you're cooking the squid, you can remove the wings, but for our presentation later, and these are the innards that we cut out earlier, those just go away. Before our presentation, I'm going to be keeping the wings on. As you can see, it looks a lot more intimidating that way for our presentation. This is what it's going to look like. Next, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going to the sink once I'm finished with these, rinsing it off, going on the inside, making sure that I've removed any of the innards, rinse it out, and then I'm going to be back here with the octopus. Hey Spacers, we're back in the preparation of our SIRELLIAN tarantula squid, and we have our octopus time to prep. And this is Cletus Octavius Brown. Look at this. This is a 3 to 5 pound whole octopus that we got. They've already cleaned out everything inside the head, but we do have one item that we've got to remove prior to cooking, and that's the beak. So we're going to be turning them upside down. Look at those tentacles. It's going to come out and eat you. So see this part? This is the beak. And we're going to, from behind, put some pressure on it so it's pushing it out. And then we're just going to cut around this and remove the beak. Now, the skin right now, obviously it's a little bit rubbery, but this is going to be a long and slow cook, which is going to remove that. So you see how that popped out? We're going to put that here in our seafood throwaway bag. And we are done with Cletus Octavius Brown. It's almost time. I also want to send a special shout out to Gerard. Hopefully the sound is a lot better. I found a way to connect the video to the Bluetooth. Thank you for the feedback and anything I can do to make these better. Next, I'm going to be preparing the shrimp that we're doing along with the seafood feast. See you there. Hey, Spacers. So now we're back. Time to make the marinade for the SIRELLIAN tarantula squid seafood feast that we're doing. So I've got our pot that we're going to be putting everything in, and we're going to take 1 cup of lemon juice, 1 cup of balsamic, half a cup of olive oil, add in there. Next, we've got a tablespoon of garlic. We've got a tablespoon of oregano, tablespoon of thyme, half a teaspoon of pepper, and half a teaspoon of coarse sea salt. Putting that in there. We're going to take our whisk this up, get this all nice and mixed together. Next, we're going to add KARIDOS and his cohorts into the mix. And then the rest of the shrimp. And we're going to get this mixed up. Try to get that marinade over everything. We're going to put the lid on here, cover it, put it back in the refrigerator. And this is going to marinate for 3 to 4 hours. And what we'll do is we'll come back out and we'll stir everything up every like half hour to an hour or so, just to make sure everything gets a nice marinade in this. And then it's time to go on to the smoker. So I'll see you then. Hey Spacers, we're back here with the SIRELLIAN Tarantula Squid. It has been marinating for a little, almost 4 hours now. And I'm going to have you take a look in the pot here. I did the same thing with the brine. I placed the plate on top just to keep everything underneath and submerged in the marinade and the brine. So what we're going to be doing is I'm prepping the grates. We're going to be putting KARIDOS directly onto the grates. And what I've got is a little bit of olive oil. I'm dipping that into a paper towel. And then I'm just coating the grates just to give them a nice coat so that when we're ready to remove it, it's not sticking to the grates. All right. So just a light coat, nothing major. I'm doing it on both of the grates here. I'll hit that side here in a minute. And now it's time to get the main star out. Let me dig in here. And there we go. This is going to be good. We've got a lot of good stuff in here. It's been marinating. Now, some of you might be asking, how come, you brined it? It seemed like a lot of the same ingredients and then you're marinating. Well, the brine has a lot of salt in there and sugar. And while it's brining, it actually changes the molecular structure of the food that we're cooking. And it allows it to maintain and impart more moisture in there, more water into it. So that way, while we're cooking this, it doesn't dry out. Now, as you see, I am spreading KARIDOS out here, making sure that the tentacles come out and are spread across so everything can get adequate cooking space. Now, the difference with the brine and the marinade, the brine actually changes that molecular structure, puts in that moisture, and then the marinade, what that does is that is going to impart some flavor for us. There's KARIDOS. Say hi, KARIDOS. You're famous. And now we're going to pull up this part. Remember, I didn't hit this side of the grates. Going to get these just light coating of the olive oil so that way everything doesn't stick. So now we're going to be taking the squid tubes out here and we're going to spread those out as well. Once again, I like how the wings just make it look more intimidating, and if you wanted to, you could pull those off and cook those separately, but as I said before, we're not going to do that with this cook. And look at that. This is looking fantastic. Now, I'm going to finish putting these out here, and the shrimp is actually going to stay inside because the shrimp doesn't take as long to cook. And then what I'm going to do with the last of the marinade is I'm going to actually put that into a spray bottle. And as we're cooking, I'm going to spray this down so none of it dries out. But I'll see you back here in a minute at the smoker finally. Hey spacers, so we're finally here at the grill. You might notice a little bit change of scenery. Well, the fact is we have a new member to the Hopperverse, and I was able to pick up this Lockhart Platinum Pit Boss grill, and I am stoked because this gives me so many more options to be able to do. We're going to be using the top section of the smoker as it's going to be able to cook at a lower temperature. We're going to be cooking at about 175, 180 degrees. So let's open her up, and we're going to be putting on the squid. Pull them in. Voila. There are those. And then say hello to Cletus. He is ready to go in. Now, we've almost set it up on the wrong area. So we have them slid in. I have Cletus down on the bottom. He's going to be getting the most smoke. Obviously, the squid is a lot smaller, so it's not going to, it wouldn't necessarily take as long to cook, but since Cletus is underneath, he's going to absorb most of the heat. Now we'll be coming. I'll be coming back out here and spraying some of that marinade back on here just to keep everything tender and obviously check on the cook. And I'll be seeing you back here once we're prepping the Ecuadorian shrimp to go on top. Hey, spacers. So it is finally time for us to dig into the Cerulean Tarantula in Squid Ink sauce. Now we're going to do a small recap. We put Cletus Octavius Brown and his friends on the smoker. Cletus was on the smoker for a little bit over 4.5 hours. His friends were on the smoker for about 3.5 hours. We have our skewered SIRELLIAN KARIDOS. Look at those. Those are on a plate. Those look absolutely amazing. And then we also have our smoky solanum. That is our eggplant. That stuff is delicious. And one of the things that I did the last 15 minutes is I cut up some lemons. I put those on the smoker just to give them a nice little blast. And now it is time to ETF. I've been waiting for this dish for quite some time. And what we're going to do is we're going to just cut right here, cut that little portion off there, dig in. We have that piece. I'm putting that over, squeeze myself a little bit of lemon. And I've already taken our herb vinaigrette. I layered some of that flavor on top of everything to pull everything together. So now I'm going to take a little bit of that ink sauce fettuccine and that piece of Octavius there. It is not chewy. That is one of the reasons why we did the slow smoke on there. The skin got a nice sear on there, so we're getting that flavor in there. I'm going to take some of the fettuccine here. That is a perfect al dente. And we've got some of that nice, I'm trying to think of the word right now because it's so good, but it's got a salty flavor, and that herb sauce brings everything together. I am super excited about this dish. We're ready to eat the food. I hope you've enjoyed this one as much as I have. I'm ready to dig in.